For those taking the class online and dealing with Chapter 8, you should have your virtual machines set up from last semester still, and remote PC set up to where you can access your computer from last fall. Hopefully you remember the computer number that you were at. In Chapter 8, we typically set up a central store, as they talk about. It allows you to control third-party applications. One of those third-party applications was Google Chrome. We deployed it out to our Windows 10 with group policy, but we did not control it through group policy because by default it's only controlling Windows machines. We downloaded the enterprise version of Google Chrome and we placed it on server 3 in an app deploy share. Here I've accessed my server manager off of server 1 that we had from last semester. I still have server 2 and 3 running. I found my app deploy hidden share, and I'm going to right click and open that share. There I'll find my Google Chrome 64-zip bundle. It may also possibly be on the desktop of your server 1. If it somehow got deleted, you can re-download Google Chrome Enterprise Bundle from the Google website. Just use Google to search for the enterprise deploy of Google Chrome. You can then copy and paste it into your virtual machine. If you're in enhanced session mode, the copy and paste feature will work. Before that I go into the zip file, I need to prep my Active Directory for what's known as a central store. That allows us to put third-party group policy bundles so that we can edit it through the group policy editor through Server Manager. Step 1 is I'm going to right click and open another File Explorer window. Step 1 is to locate the group policy folder on the domain controller, or on a domain controller. So if we access C drive under the main controller, we open up Windows, and we need to find the policy definitions folder under Windows. So that policy definitions from an Active Directory domain controller needs to be copied. So I'm going to right click and copy that. Once that's copied, I will then go to the address bar and access whack-contoso.com. And that will show us our sys volume information. This volume is shared off of all domain controllers and synced. So I didn't go to particular server 1, I didn't go to server 2, I just went to contoso.com, and as I double click the sys file, it'll automatically connect me to one of the domain controllers. I'll go under contoso.com and I will go under policies, and I'm going to paste that policy into the folder. That is what creates the central store. By default, if this folder is missing, the domain controllers will look in their local Windows policy definition folder for whenever that you're managing the group policy editor. But once that it is copied from one of the domain controllers into the sysvol contoso.com policies folder, it will then be replicated to all domain controllers, and when you launch the tool, it always looks in this location first: sysvol domain name policies policy definition. So once it's here, no matter where you launch the tool, it will check to see, is there a central store created. So right now it has all the same as before. I'm going to go ahead and double click and open up the policy definitions that was copied in. I see there's ADMX files. I see a language folder too. I'll open it. It is full of ADML files. when you have a third-party product that you want to manage in group policy, you find the ADMX files for that product, paste it into this folder. You find the ADML files and paste it into the language folder. I'm going to go to the other File Explorer window where my zip file for Google Chrome is located. I'm going to double click. I'm going to go under, I believe it's configuration. Could be, yes, configuration is the right. There's a folder here for ADMX, so I'll double click on it. As I scroll to the bottom, I will find all the ADMX files. I will highlight all of them and copy those. We'll then go to the policy definitions Explorer window, and I will right click and paste. Once those are in, it will not work yet until the language files associated with them. So I'll open up the en-us folder. I will then find the same en-us folder here. I will open it up. I'll copy the ADML files, and I'll make sure that I'll paste them along with all the other ADML files. It will not work if you get them in the wrong location. That sets up our central store, and that has added a group policy settings for Google Chrome. These are also available for newer versions of Windows 10. Each time a new feature edition of Windows 10 comes out, Microsoft has ADML and ADMX files. Same thing with other Microsoft products like Office. They will have these files that you can add into a central store and manage. Like I said, by default, you're only managing the base Windows OS, so anytime something new comes out, this is required so that you can get those settings. We can make sure that we can access those by going to Tools, Group Policy Management. I'll have to click on it in the taskbar. Once it's loaded, I can go ahead and edit one of these or create a new policy, maybe for the entire domain. Let's go and do that. Create a new GPO in this domain. We'll name it Google Chrome policy. I'll click OK. I'll edit the Google Chrome policy. So this will be any Google Chrome that's installed on workstations in the company. We'll go under user configuration, and I'm going to expand out policies. I'm going to expand out administrative templates. It will now be reading the central store. And that's why it's doing the spinny wheel, because it has to pull from the domain instead of the local hard drive. So when I expand that out, I now have Google, a couple of Google folders here that I did not have before. And that's simply because I created the central store and I copied those files in. So we have policies the user can override. We have another folder here. These are all the policies that you can set for Google Chrome that users are not allowed to make changes to. If you would like, you could go through and scan through, maybe set a home page or something. Of course, we don't have internet connection, but you can make any change into a policy if you're following this video. Access your Windows 10, and after restarting it, check and see if Google Chrome accepted the policy. And if you do it under user configuration, I should say it's not for the workstations, it's for every user account. that logs into the system. You could alternatively check if there is one for PCs that you have specific Google policies for a group of PCs versus for user accounts if you wanted. And there's Google again. And they have how Google updates itself for the computer machines. Okay, hopefully you can replicate that, that you're curious enough to want to try it. You may want to even go see if there's some policies for products other than Google Chrome. Maybe check to see if Firefox has some policies or something else, and deploy those throughout through the central store, just so you can see how you can manage third-party products. Or if you wanted to manage Windows 10 2009 version that was pushed out, you can find the ADMX, ADML files and add them into your central store. Of course, you don't have a second half 2020 install of Windows 10, but you could always download, install an ISO, and do whatever play you want to. Okay, I'm going to stop the video, because the rest of this will be just working through test out and setting up your central store, playing with that. Matched our talk with Chapter 8 being in class.